day 284, and the day rating is a 7. Felt like one of those days that just was ready for the weekend. Thankfully, today's kind of my Friday. Yes, I'll take it. But walked the pup, came back, and needed to get lunch, so I had to run to the store real quick. I grabbed one of those Italian sandwiches or subs and some chips, some garden salsa, sun chips, and those were very tasty. I almost grabbed cookies again. I'm glad I didn't because I didn't eat them. But I could have used another snack during the day. Either some kind of peanut butter and crackers or jerky or trail mix, probably. Some kind of trail mix or mixed nuts, almonds, cashews. I feel like the peanuts have been hurting me, so I don't know if I'm going to keep getting peanuts. Anyways, then work was interesting. I had a guy, he called and he said he's having trouble. Well, first he said he's like, I'm at home. Who did he say? His wife is a teacher, and one of the kids at school was sick, and then he got sick, so he stayed home from work. He's working from home and trying to get his email set up. Oh, excuse me. And he said he's almost 7 years old, so he's having trouble navigating. So I said, all right, I'm gonna send you a password reset. Click on the link. He's like, okay. There's no link. And every once in a while it happens. It could be a spam where it just blocks it so it doesn't easily get malware or something to come in and give him a virus. And I was trying to walk him through it and said, okay, if it doesn't click, I'm going to need you to drag your mouse over it, copy it, and then paste it in the web browser, in the search web browser. The web browser's address, search address. Oh my gosh, lose my train of thought. Anyways, he said, well, I'm on a laptop, so there's no mouse. I was like, okay, he's being very, very literal about these terms. I was like, well, you can still click it, right? He's like, oh, I can drag over it and click. I'm like, okay. Drag over from where it says HTTPS, and that's the start, and then go till it ends, and then you're going to hold control, or hit control and C, that's going to copy it. They're going to go to your web browser. It's like, what's the web browser? I'm like, go to the internet. Let's get you to the internet. And in that search bar where it shows google.com, go up there, highlight it, and click Control V. It's like Control V at the same time. So I just took him a while and said, hold Control and then hit V, and that'll take that. And then he's like, I thought you said hit Control C. I'm like, yeah. So he said that earlier. Control C was to copy it from one area of the computer, and then Control V is gonna paste it into another. That's all we're doing, so you don't have to type it out. To go, okay, and I had to tell him this 2 or 3 times. And we were on the phone call for about 30 minutes, and then he finally got in. And while he was getting in, he was getting his password going, and he had told me this story. I think he said when he was younger, he brought up Sputnik. He's like, do you know what Sputnik is? Like, yeah, it's one of those satellites that first orbited the Earth. I was like, I'm not 100% if that was the first one or first one to make a full rotation or to stay in space for a couple of days. I don't know that, but I remember that was one of the big ones to get out there. And so he's like, yeah, I was like, well, I'm 70 now. I was about, I don't know what he said. He said he was a kid, 8 to 10, somewhere in there. And he said, before we watched it on TV, we went out and got a bunch of the 5 gallon? Maybe it was the gallon milk jugs. He said he had some kind of water jug, and they were cutting them in half and made some kind of little spaceship out of it while they were watching it on TV. I And I thought, how cool is that? He's like, man, I haven't told anyone this in like 40 years. I'm like, oh, thank you for sharing that with me. Yeah, interesting name. Gino? Trino? I think it was Gino. Gino. And anyways, there's this interesting moment. You don't get too many of those stories. It's normally just, here's my issue, fix it for me. Or I need help. And this random story just, I don't know, took the stress off work for the day and made me really smile. And then about a half hour later, he called back and he says, like, I need to change the password. So we had given him a generic password, just something like a month and a year type deal. And so he said, I need to change it. How do I change it? I said, oh, you're going to go in here, go here, click here, click here. It's like, how in the world am I supposed to navigate it? Like, some people take their time and go through it, and some people just use the features that they need, and that's it. And you might be in that category, my friend Gino. So I got on the phone with him, walked him again. Okay, when do you log in? Go here. He said, wait, I'm not there. All right, I went back too far. I'm like, okay, log in. Put your password, email in. Hit log in, and then don't hit anything. Let me know what you see. Okay. After that, hit the user tab. Okay. And then go to the little search feature. It's going to say name, last login date, and two other things. It's like, there's a search bar in there. Go ahead and type in your name. It's like just my full name, like first name, last name, full name. It should recognize you either way. So you type in his name in, hit search. Then he goes to look for it. I was like, okay, my name popped up. Like, good. So it should show first name, last name, login date, and then one or two other features. And on the far right, there's a little pencil icon, right? It's like, yeah, that's what I see. It's like, go ahead, click at the icon. Your file's going to open up. Go down to about 3 or 4. It's going to say password. Do manual password. Type in your password, and then password, type in your old one, the one we gave you, and then type in the new one, and then type in it again, and then make sure you don't copy paste any of it. Just type everything in, and then hit save, and you're good to go. But it was just funny, because I saw it on caller ID. He's like, Gino, he's calling back, and he's like, hey, it's me again. And he was really nice about it, and he said, again, that he was sick, and he was trying to get a little bit of work done to help everyone out being at home, and so he's just trying to run a couple permits. And so I give it to him. I mean, being sick, being 70, and not wanting to go to work, but still finding a way to log in and get some work done. Good for you, Gino. I hope somehow we meet again and have some kind of conversation, even if it's not work related. Even if you just call me up on Wednesdays or Thursdays and just talk about life, give me a call, buddy. Nice to talk to you. Then we came back, tried to play with the pup for about an hour and a half, 2 hours. And we played for about a half hour. It was like off and on, so it's not a solid straight half hour. And then all right, let's go get ready. And I was getting ready. And right as I was putting on my shoes, she went to go in her kennel again. I'm like, no, don't do this. Come on, we need to go outside. I need to get you on a schedule. We need to get this going. I need to leave in about 45 minutes. And she just sat and waited, and I got up and tried to sit on the couch and wait for her. And then I acted like I was sleeping. I started fake snoring, and she came over and told me, like, no, what are you doing? Don't fall asleep. I need you to get up and walk me. And I got up. Like, okay, let's go. And then she went in her kennel again. I'm like, oh my gosh. Something about it is scaring her, and I don't know why. We've been avoiding any issues with her having to be aggressive and barking at people or dogs, and she's been doing a good job. I don't know if she's maybe cold or she thinks I'm yelling at her. I'm not yelling at her. It's over here. Got her head turned away from the light. So I'll try to wrap this up in the next few minutes. But she keeps going in the kennel, and I don't want to drag her out. That's her little safe space, so let her stay in there until she's ready. And then sat back down on the couch, gave her another 5 minutes, and finally she came out. When I got up, I was able to kind of close the gate so that we could go for a walk. And once we got outside, everything was fine. She was good to go. Walked, sniffed, did her business out in the grass. She got a little feisty with one of the neighbors and the little dog bark, but I've heard that some dogs get territorial, kind of when there's a door and a gate. And I kind of caught her. I could tell someone was parking coming in, so I said, no, come here. She just kind of going over there to sniff, and just you could hear her start to growl, like get a little grumpy, like "Arr, arr." But just got her out of there, calmed down. Got her to go play in the grass a little bit, and we're good. That was the group run for Thursday, so we went out, and we're getting ready to go. And there was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of us. Yeah. And the night before we're going, like, where's Gary? He's supposed to be here, right? He's like, oh yeah, he's gonna be here. And 3 of the people had left, and so the 4 of us were waiting. Ron, Pawan, Jason, and myself. And I had to run back to my car to get a flashlight. I saw Jason like, hey, we haven't left yet. We're over here. And so I was like, I just gotta go get a flashlight. So for the runs, we're good. It's like, okay. So we jogged over, and I jogged right behind him. And we waited, and then right as we were getting ready to walk, Gary pulls up. It's like, all right, Gary, let's go. And I think he had to drop something off. He's like, oh, I got birthday cards. And it was Alicia and Ron's birthday. Well, Ron's birthday was in the last couple days, and then Alicia's birthday is in 3 days. 3 days. So it was nice of him to pick that up. He's kind of the group leader, and I'm sure everyone appreciates that little extra. Oh, they thought of me, you know. And it was nice, and then he also brought some cookies. But anyways, back to the run. We're getting ready to start the run. We get to the light, and it's already got the crosswalk on, and it's starting to count down from like 25 or 24, whatever it is. And then 2 other cars getting ready to turn, and then 2 of the people kind of dart out, like, well, we have the right of way. And it's like, yeah, but they don't see you. And so the car stopped about like the middle of traffic, and I was like, got nervous and like waved. I was like, no, like, wait a sec, like, let them go, and then we can go. We have enough time to cross. Just let these 2 cars go because they didn't see anyone there. Anyways, I think they were paying attention. Either of them, I think, the running group or the 2 cars turning in. So they ran across. I let the 2 cars go, and then the next car that was going to turn, the 3rd car, was waiting for 2 other cars to keep going east to west. West to east. Oh, so I took off, and I must have been a mixture of the cold and kind of the adrenaline pumping from the cars. But I took off quicker than normal. Just kind of kept going. And let's see, I had it pulled up and then it just reset. So the first mile was 7:08, and 7:09, and 7:05. And then right around 3.5, I felt a little bit of sprinkle. It's like, it's starting to want to rain. And then about 5 minutes later, it felt like a nice light drizzle. And I caught up to one of the other guys. He's like, oh man, I think the rain's gonna start coming down. I was like, yeah, but it smells great, doesn't it? I'm like, yeah, it smells great, but I don't want to be out here if it starts really pouring. We're gonna get cold real quick. And I was already going at a decent pace. And then I started to pick it up from there. It was 7:07 for the 4th mile. And then it got to a point where it was a good rain. I got to 6:50 and I said, okay, I did a workout yesterday, but I don't want to be stuck in the cold. So let's just keep going. So the next mile was 6:42. I stopped at 6.5 miles, but I got back to my car and I drove back to our group and made sure no one needed a ride. And thankfully, it didn't keep raining. It was hardly a sprinkle. But I went all the way back. I found Gary, and I guess he hasn't been feeling good since he did the Ironman. And he's like, maybe there's something in that water, because me and a couple others just haven't felt good. Got some kind of stomach bug, or not holding food down. And especially when we run, it feels worse. So I turned around and saw him. I'm like, Gary, the meat wagon's here to pick pick you up. And it's kind of the runner or distance joke that the meat wagon picks up the stragglers in the end, or people who probably past the cutoff time. And he had laughed a little bit, and then he had started to walk, and I guess he really wasn't feeling good, and I didn't know it. But he's like, yeah, can I get a ride? I'm like, yeah, of course, Gary, get in. But the original point was just to pick anyone up if it really started raining. And everyone was pretty convinced that they were going to finish the run, so it was good. And Gary's the only one I picked up. Then we passed Pawan, and we joked with Pawan and headed back in. And then Gary went to his car, grabbed a couple of the birthday cards, had to sign them. And he brought out some really good cookies from Bash's. And oh my gosh, I had way too many. I had 4 when I was sitting there. I had 2 or 3, and then he's like, take 'em more. It's like, oh my gosh. When we were leaving, and it was Pawan, Gary, and myself, and he's like, take 3, take at least 3. I'm like, oh my gosh, Gary, I need food. I don't need these sugar cookies. Oh, so that was the day. Kind of fun. Made it for a little memorable change up for the run with either the rain and the birthdays. So happy birthday, Ron and Alicia. Alicia, Ron, and Ron. Hopefully you guys have a great week, great birthday time celebrating. Stay safe, stay healthy. Run your life with health and happiness, and have a good night.